Welcome to the Wriothesley Simp review, and in brackets, simple review, because we are going to raise a language our way through this and make this as dumb as possible for casual players like myself and yourself who are watching. If you're looking for a very in-depth guide, unfortunately you are in the wrong place, but there are some fantastic content creators who will be covering Wriothesley as well. So these are the stats that I'm running at the moment. 2,369 attack is the main thing you want to see here, and we have unfortunately not got over 70% crit rate, but we do have a lot of crit damage, a lot of energy recharge, and of course we have cryo damage bonus as well. We have got his signature weapon, cash flow supervision. This is going to be his best in slot. The other 5 stars that you can consider, because the way he plays, and in fact his constellations are somewhat similar to the Wanderer as well, you can take the Remembrance or the Bell. It's a normal attack boosting weapon. You won't get charge attack bonuses for it, but there's only one part of Wriothesley's kit. Yes, it's a big part of his kit. That is charge attack, but it's mostly normal attack. So this is probably the second best 5-star Catalyste that you can use for him. You can also use Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds. That's not bad as well, especially if you go for constellations. You will actually be able to have him on the field for longer and make more use out of this ramping up buff. Widsith would be the 4-star that I recommend for the ones that you can gacha pull. Solar Pearl is not great because Rizzy's elemental skill doesn't actually do any damage, so you can't proc this the second half of his passive unless you use his elemental burst, which does complicate some things. So my recommendation would be the Widsith, since he's a DPS as well. The artifact set that I have gone with is going to be Shimanel's Reminiscence. The reason why I've gone with this is because my stats on this are actually really good. I have some really good pieces on this artifact set, and I unfortunately don't have many good pieces on, I still can't pronounce this to save my life, but I do not have any good pieces on the Hunter set. As you can see, this is going to be his best in slot, this specific artifact set, the Hunter set. But I assume, likewise to myself, most of you guys probably don't have great Hunter pieces right now. So you would either have to settle for the Shimanel's Reminiscence, or alternatively, I assume most people will have this, Blizzard Strayer is also nice as well. Especially if you are going to be running freeze teams, Blizzard Strayer I think is probably on par with the Hunter set as well. But again, only if you are going to be running that freeze team. If you really don't have any gear, then I guess you could go 2-piece Blizzard Strayer and 2-piece any of the attack percent ones, so Gladiators. But the recommendation is having the 4-piece sets of either the Hunter set, best in slot, and then you have the Shimanel's Reminiscence, or alternatively the Cryo set, Blizzard Strayer. And then we have triple crown, no less, for our King Wriothesley here as well. So my team that I'm going to be using is going to be a Constellation 0 Albedo, Constellation 0 Shenhe, and a Constellation 6 Xingqiu. Now, I know this is not going to be the best team in the world, guys, but hear me out. I am someone that believes in Albedo supremacy, and any opportunity I get to use him, as copium as it is, I'm going to use him. And I've even made him for the meme-tasticness 1031 elemental mastery. Why? Well, this allows him to do more shatter damage. Okay, believe it or not, this is not okay, it's a little bit copium, but 1031 elemental mastery means his shields won't be paper thin, and it also means he can do shatter damage. Shatter Beidou meta, I'm calling it right now. It's not gonna happen, but without further ado, let's do this. What does he do? Enough waffling. What does Wriothesley do? So Wriothesley is going to enhance his normal attacks. Much like the Wanderer, he's going to increase the damage it does. He's also going to have an enhanced charge attack when he falls under a certain amount of HP, which is if he's under 60% HP, he will have like a lifesteal attack where he uppercuts the enemy and it does a lot of damage, and he's able to steal some HP. Or not steal some HP, but he's able to heal himself up as well. Right, let's put this down. Let's get Xingqiu up. Let's get Xingqiu's burst up. Okay, and then we'll do this. All right, here we go. So this is the damage that you can kind of expect. 49k there, not bad at all. And that's mostly thanks to Shenhe, of course. And as you can see, Wriothesley right now is glowing red. When he glows red, he will have his enhanced charge attack, which will heal him up. Actually, let me take a hit here. Okay, so as you can see, he is currently glowing red. So he has this red aura. This red aura means he will have the enhanced charge attack. And with that enhanced charge attack, he will be able to lifesteal and heal up 30% of his HP at Constellation 0. Now, if he goes above Constellation 0 and gets to Constellation 1, he will actually heal up more than that, which is, you know, quite the big deal. So that is something worth keeping in mind, because it definitely does change how he plays as a character. 37k on the charge attack there, not bad at all. 36k on the downwards punch as well. The N5, his normal attack 5, is going to be the hardest hitting attack that he does in his attack string there. Now, Wriothesley, when he uses elemental skill, once again, the elemental skill doesn't do any damage. So if you are trying to trigger any sort of, maybe you're using sacrificial weapon for whatever reason, that elemental skill is not going to trigger any sort of proc or any sort of ability like the Solar Pearl. So do keep that in mind. This time we have Shenhe's Burst, which should make things a little bit more interesting. And once again, his elemental skill, if you fall under 50% HP, your damage buff will be negated. So that is something worth keeping in mind. And we'll drop this down. We'll drop this down. All right, let's do this. So I believe we got some nice big damage here. As you can see, Wriothesley's HP is under a certain amount there. So the red glow means that he's able to get that damage boost. And that is his elemental burst, which looks very, very cool. And it can do a lot more damage if you have the right character supporting. So again, that's something worth keeping in mind as well. Team composition for Wriothesley is actually going to make quite the big difference. So we got a big uppercut there of around 44,000 damage, I believe that was. But yeah, Wriothesley's uppercut, his charge attack does do a lot of damage. It does consume a lot of stamina though, which is 50. However, if you're under 60% HP and you have that red glow on you, that charge attack is not going to consume any stamina. So let's talk about Wriothesley's Constellation 1, because it's going to change a lot of things. We'll go over his talents very quickly so that you guys have an idea of what his Constellation 1 is actually changing. So here you go. These are his normal attacks. Normal attacks, charge attacks, consumes a fixed amount of stamina to leap and unleash a vaulting fist, dealing AoE cryo damage. These are the numbers at talent levels 10, 10, 10. As you can see, charge attack damage at 275.3% is actually on the higher end, but it does consume a lot of stamina of 50. Then you have Ice Fang Rush, which is going to deplete your own HP every single time you start hitting your enemy. And this attack is called Repelling Fists of normal attack, Forceful Fists of Frost. There's a lot of different terminology in here that will make this confusing, but Repelling Fists is the key word here, is what's gonna be enhanced during his elemental skill. And Wriothesley will only get this damage bonus when he is above 50% HP, and he will not deplete his HP any further than 50%. And if you take him off the field, he will also lose this effect. Again, very similar to how the Wanderer is played as well. Then you have his Elemental Burst. His Elemental Burst, also similar to the Wanderer, does 5 hits of a decent amount of damage. So in total, this is going to be over, what, like 1,000, almost 1,200 damage here. And yeah, so that's a fair amount of damage right there, or 1,200% damage there, not bad at all. And this is his charge attack buff here. So when Wriothesley's HP is less than 60%, he will obtain a Gracious Rebuke. Remember that term, the Gracious Rebuke. The next charge attack of his normal attack, Forceful Fists of Frost, will be enhanced to become Rebuke Vaulting Fist. It will not consume stamina, it will deal 50% increased damage, and after hitting, will restore HP for Wriothesley equal to 30% of his max HP, and you can only gain a Gracious Rebuke, so this entire buff, you can only get this every 5 seconds. The next one is going to be when Wriothesley's current HP increases or decreases if he is in the elemental skill state, so the chilling penalty state, conferred by his elemental skill Ice Fang Rush. Chilling penalty will gain 1 stack of Prosecution Edict. Maximum 5 stacks. Each stack will increase Wriothesley's attack by 6%. So by the time you're on your 5th attack or your 6th attack, you should have 30% increased attack. So after your first attack string, you should have the 30% increase attack. And that ties into his Constellation 1. So, Constellation 1. The Gracious Rebuke from the passive talent. So that entire talent is going to be changed. Now, it's when Wriothesley's HP is less than 60%, which is the same as before at Constellation 0. Or while he is using his elemental skill after the 5th attack of an enhanced normal attack string in his elemental skill Repelling Fist, it will create a Gracious Rebuke. So at Constellation 1, you don't have to be under 60% HP. You can be full HP and use the elemental skill, and after you've done your entire attack string, you should be able to do a charge attack which will be fully buffed. It won't cost any energy and it will do a fair amount of damage, and you will be able to get this effect every 2.5 seconds. And if my assumption is correct, 2.5 seconds is enough for another normal attack string, so you should be able to fit in 2 enhanced charge attacks minimum, maybe even 3 during the time of his elemental skill, which is going to be a fair amount of damage. Additionally, it doesn't end there. Constellation 1 doesn't end there. Additionally, the enhanced charge attack will now deal 200% increased damage, which is more than his original, which is only 50%. So 200% instead. And when it hits, while Wriothesley is in his elemental skill state, because you can do his charge attack when he's not in his elemental skill just to heal him up, even if you're not using his elemental skill. As long as he's in his elemental skill state and you land the enhanced charge attack, the charge, or rather the elemental skill duration, will last an additional 4 seconds. So it will go up to a total of 14 seconds, which basically means he will almost be off cooldown every time he uses his elemental skill, which is quite a darn good Constellation 1. So we're gonna unlock that now and see how oppressive that's gonna be now that I don't have to be under a certain HP. And this will basically mean he will infinitely be able to heal himself up, even though he's depleting his own HP. He will just consistently be able to heal himself up. Now, the problem with Wriothesley when he's not at C1 is you can't get the most out of using Bennett, because Bennett is always going to keep healing you up to full, almost full HP, and you'll never be under 60% HP, so you'll never be able to use that enhanced charge attack while having that damage buff from his elemental skill as well. But with Constellation 1, well, now you can use Bennett because he's still going to be able to use his enhanced charge attack even if he's over that full HP threshold. And of course, Bennett is, as everyone knows, one of the best characters in the game for buffing certain characters that scale of attack. So let's see what we're going to have here. And I expect a lot from Constellation 1. So boom, boom. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Okay, we'll do this and we'll do this. So here we go. Yep, so he's glowing red, as you can see there. 86,000. 86,000 damage, and he's glowing red again. 42,000 without any buffs, which is pretty darn oppressive. So he's glowing red again. 48,000. His Constellation 1 makes a pretty significant difference. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because I would say it would have been nice if the Constellation 1 wasn't that insane of a difference. But yeah, it makes his elemental skill last longer. It makes his charge attack do a lot more damage. It means you're HP positive whenever you're trying to heal, because before you're losing too much HP and it's a little bit obnoxious. But now you're just healing up all the time, and it just makes your life significantly easier. So, you know, if I have to tell you guys to go for either the weapon and Wriothesley at Constellation 0 or Constellation 1 plus no weapon, I would honestly tell you to go for Constellation 1. This weapon is really good for Wriothesley, but I think the way this changes the way you can play, you literally just spam your normal attack, and then after your normal attack string ends, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can do a charge attack straight after that, is how his rotation changes at Constellation 1, which is really, really nice, because at Constellation 0, if your HP drops too low, 1, you're not getting any bonus damage, and 2, you're going to want to instantly charge attack to heal up. Whereas with this one, you go boom, 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 charge attack. Big difference. Right. One more time. Oh, this is not the enhanced version, so he's gonna die pretty quickly, actually. All right, we'll go with this. I did the rotation wrong, but it's fine. Okay, And he's going to get the red glow here. Boom. He's going to get another red glow here. Boom. Only 22,500 there because I'm not in the elemental skill state anymore. Another charge attack, 44,000. So, yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now, next up, I'm going to show you some teams and how you can kind of use him with certain teams. I have used the team with Venti in it for smaller mobs, which are easy to freeze. You don't have to use Venti. It can be Kaza, it can be Sucra's Animo characters to swell, to increase his damage. If you are not going to go for C1, then Bennett is not the greatest choice of character to use. You can still use Bennett with him at C0. You are still going to get an attack buff. It's just that you're not making the most of the Bennett in your team. But at Constellation 0, here is some Spiral Abyss footage. Alrighty, so we have floor 12, chamber 1 against the Seahorse, which a lot of people do not like, understandably so. We are going with the double Hydro, Synchro, and Yelan. My Synchro is not geared properly and is only level 70 as well. But mostly what I wanted to show you guys here is that, you know, we can use a double Hydro team, and there might be a certain Archon coming in the future that would be able to replace one of these units. And of course, in this team, Albedo can be hella replaced here because, you know, Albedo is just there to provide the shields. There are other Geo characters you can use for shields if you want, but Albedo, I thought it was cool, you know, because Albedo against frozen enemies can actually shatter. But this is an example of an enemy that can't be shattered because they can't be frozen, so that is something to keep in mind. But the Elemental Mastery shields are nice, of course. But as you can see, Rizzy's damage definitely not bad at all for a Constellation 0. Yeah, it's 10-10-10, but it's Constellation 0, and this kind of damage DPS is pretty good to be able to one-phase the Seahorse. Next up, we have floor 12, chamber 3, first half, which is quite an obnoxious first half. We do have a little bit of Hydro resistance from the enemies here, so you will be able to see that Synchro and Yelan aren't doing all the heavy lifting. Everyone is playing a role. Look at that, 17,160 shattered damage. I'm telling you guys, it's not copium, okay? I promise you, Shatter Albedo is the future. I have the biggest smile on my face because I know it's crazy copium, but I'm telling you right now, it is actually really fun to play and very satisfying to see Shatter Beidou in action. The shields are kind of useful as well. As you can see, I'm not going to take a lot of damage during this run, but mostly Wriothesley can also shatter himself using his charge attack. I believe he can shatter himself, but it's not going to be this quick, and it's not going to be this consistent, and it's not going to be this automatic as well, because you don't even have to think about the shatter when you have the Albedo on your team. But as you can see, we are not taking a lot of damage. We have a lot of security here with Synchro and Albedo, a lot of defensive and also offensive utility, or rather elemental application coming through here as well. Yelan with a nice little bit of damage boost, and as you can see, the HP on Wriothesley, it keeps getting topped up, keeps healing. You have healing from Synchro, you have healing from itself, and that elemental burst is so satisfying when it penetrates through multiple enemies. It can penetrate through a lot of enemies, and it just goes straight through them and can do a lot of damage, especially if we get all the hits off. And we get a time of around 1 minute 30 seconds, which honestly, very respectable, guys. It's respectable. So yeah, thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. C0 Triple Crown Wriothesley, I do think, is going to be quite a fun character to play. I know some people were a little bit underwhelmed by him, but I personally love his playstyle. I really like using freeze teams because I actually, unironically, really enjoy using Shadow Beidou, guys. This also gives me another reason to use Shenhe because I don't really play with my cryo characters anymore. But yes, I was able to get through Spiral Abyss with those characters. 1 minute 30 seconds is always a solid time. It's a decent time. I know you can do better than that, but remember, I wasn't using Shenhe. My Synchro is literally level 70, full-on energy recharge build just to spam the Hydra application. There are way better builds for Synchro out there than mine. I wasn't using Bennett either, and I also don't have Constellation 1. So I believe in Wriothesley's Riz, and I do think he's a solid unit. Not Novelette level, but I do think if a certain Archon comes out, things might change. Things might genuinely change. My recommendation is to go for C1 if you want to have his brain dead playstyle, where you just normal attack, and when he does his down punch, then you can follow into an uppercut. So that is my recommendation. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and bye-bye.